But it's entitled Sticks and Stones.
Oh. Oh man, Jimmy Bramley on drums, boy. Walt Fowler, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Coates, and Danielle Willie. Man, fun.
Okay, wait a minute. We kind of lost that a little bit. It was so it was Jimmy Johnson on bass.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson on bass, Jimmy Bramley on drums. That was a great solo right there. And Walt Fowler on trumpet,
Trumpet.
Barry Coates, my partner there, on guitar, myself, and I think there's a guy playing congas who was sitting in, a friend, old student of mine and good friend, Danielle Willie.
He looks like he's 15 or something.
Yeah, not quite, but it's a little older than that, but yeah.
You know,
Great
I
guy.
just
He's
I
actually
just
a
have
great
to.
engineer.
Sorry.
Actually a really good engineer, and he mixed my
Oh,
very last record
oh,
with, yeah, in Casa de Luis. Yeah, he mixed it. It's excellent. Anyway,
oh, cool.
yeah.
Um, I wanted to just, I just in my Cathy style, I just wanted to say you're watching you and hearing you, and how you add is just it's like these little sensuous moments. It's like ooh, it's just real
Oh,
pleasure moment. When you're so flexible and you grasp out of this joyous spot or something. I don't know, and it has a great effect.
thank you. Oh, wow, that's really nice. Thank you so much. I'm just, just playing the music. Just what I hear, I go there. What you can do.
You're probably one of the most humble musicians I've ever met, and you're so applauded. Actually, my friend Dan Davila, he likes to post people's credits in all music. He said
Oh, yeah.
you have like the most he's ever seen, something over 2,000.
Yeah, I got a whole. I know. I looked at it a while ago. It's funny. I didn't know anything about all music. I was in Spain, and I did this radio interview, and the guy starts asking me about that. I did a record once with a band called Ramsit, which is a kind
Yeah.
of a punk band, and you do odd things. I was like, I said I didn't remember that. How do you know all this stuff? And he had printed out this whole list of all music. I didn't know about all music. I was like, wow.
It's
So
kind of, it's nice. It's kind of a valuable tool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, but somebody like you who has played with, a lot of people, just
Yeah,
how do you remember everything unless you've been writing it down along the way?
yeah. A while ago I sat down and at least I wrote down what I could remember of touring and certain things because you start forgetting things. And so I've got a lot of things written down, but not as far as like projects like that, like sessions. I never wrote down all the sessions or anything like that. I do have all my date books. I could go back and look at the date books. I've kept them all.
I keep mine too.
Yeah,
My husband's always going, do you really need this from 10 years ago? And I'm like, yeah, I really do.
yeah, yeah, I do. 20 years ago, yeah, I do.
Did we meet like were you here in like the late 70s?
Yeah,
Did we meet? Yeah.
we met. I think it was at $2 bills, man. Remember that club, that place? It's not there anymore, right?
Very well. I had a gig there every Tuesday for
All the
2 or 3 years. Yeah.
I think I might. I think I played, and I either met you there and then I played with you, or vice versa. I don't remember.
But
Yeah.
you played with Joey too, probably, or Joey played with you. He was young.
You mean Heredia?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He's like a few years younger than me. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I played with Joy Heredia a lot there too, and yeah, Justo. I played there with Justo and Mario one time. I know Justo brought his band in there.
that was a great hang for a long time.
Good little hang, man. Nice little place right there, quiet. Now it's that area. The whole thing is just so different now. Things are
Yeah,
just
I
changed.
know. Yeah, I'll always remember that club. Very fond of that club. Um, yeah, and yeah, because I was playing with Joey probably because I married Gus, his brother. So
Yeah.
I guess I guess whatever. I don't know if we would have met. Who knows?
Who
But
knows?
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
those were busy days. Those were cool days. Like Monsieur Santos was playing.
Yeah.
Because remember
Yeah.
the place in Venice, the Comeback Inn?
Come back in, man. There were a lot of places. Yeah, the come back in, Hub Sings.
Yeah, right.
There were, at my place.
Yeah, that was a cool room.
Monica.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there was Lavallee, and there was Le
Yeah.
Cafe upstairs,
Yep. Yep.
the Baked Potato, of course. Bon Appetit
Yeah, that was a great room.
in Westwood. I mean, there was a lot of places. There was a lot of places to play, man. There's not so many now.
Paul Krybick, who's a real card,
Yeah.
he he does stuff like this. He wrote a list of clubs. He remembered all the clubs. It's kind of funny just to look back and that he would do that.
Yeah. And then and before that, I mean, when I first started like really getting into focusing into music and say, oh, I'm gonna be a musician. I'm a pretty late guy. And there was Carmelo's and Dante's, Shelley's Manhole. I mean,
I know. I was a waitress at Dante's
were you?
for a year and a half when I
Wow.
first moved here. That's kind of how I got into the jazz community.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was, really great place.
Oh man. Yeah, it was. Those were the days. I mean, you can go to one club and then check out another set in another club.
I know. I
Those
used to
days.
go over to the Baked Potato after I worked.
Right. Just slide over there and check it out. Or you
That
get
was
out.
when, that was when Seawind was first here.
Yeah. See, they used to play on Mondays, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I met all those guys, Jerry Hay and
Yeah.
Kenny Wild and Steve Foreman, the percussionist. Yeah, the old days, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. The sound room. Thanks, David Smith. Yeah.
Sound room.
The
Yeah.
sound room. Actually, I was one of the first live people there. And I actually worked there with Ted Green, which
Wow.
was like Ted didn't play out very much, and he barely worked with the singers at all. And I didn't realize I was young. I had come from Boston. I had been at Berkeley. So at that time there were a lot of guitar players at Berkeley. So Ted Green was really like, in my ears. And I met Ted at Dante's. He actually fainted because he was very sensitive. So he fainted and I helped him, revive.
man.
Then I said, "Oh, I'm a singer and blah, blah, blah." So we worked on something and he said we would do a gig. I put up like 3 little signs somewhere, music stores. When I got to the gig at the sound room, there was no standing room. That was my
Wow.
first gig, actually.
Yeah, fantastic.
I was like, whoa, oh my God, Anyway,
Wow,
that
that's cool, man. The
those
sound
were
room. Hey, if you saw a comment from David Smith there.
yes.
That's one of my best friends, and he's my teacher also.
Ah,
Yeah, I had lessons with him, percussion lessons of mallet percussions in Los Angeles City College. I was going to Los Angeles City College, and he was teaching there. We're pretty much our same age, just a little older than me, but he already had a teaching credential. He was teaching, and I had a gig. This is a little funny story. If you got a second,
yeah.
I get it. I get a gig with. I meet Walfredo Reyes, et cetera, et cetera. Long story, the senior, and he calls me up. He goes, "Hey man, I'm working with." This is Walfredo. I'm working in Vegas. Walfredo Senior. Working in Vegas with Wayne Newton, as you know. I play with Wayne Newton, but I also play with Doc Severinsen, who's the opening act for Wayne. Now Doc is going to be the main act in another hotel, so I can't do both gigs. So he needs somebody. And I asked him, Walfredo says, I asked him, do you want somebody with a really good feel, but he doesn't really play a lot of mallets? Or you want somebody that can play all the mallets and don't worry about the feel? He says, no, give me somebody with a good feel, So Walfredo calls me and he goes, hey man, this is what's going on, blah, 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 blah. You got to fly out to Vegas and meet him, this and that, long story. But you got to have to play a little timpani and just one song where you have to play orchestra bells. I go, Okay, well, I've never done that. Says I know. You gotta just check it out. It'll be really easy. They'll send you the music. You'll meet them. I think you can do it. So I think Dave Smith, because I used to go and hang out and look at the band rehearsals, and I had gone into the percussion ensemble class, but I wasn't in it. I just would sit there and watch it. I think I'm going to talk to this guy and ask him if he can help me. And I go up to him and say, hey, Dave, and he, first thing I did was says, okay, he gave me a mallet and said, here's a timpani. Hit it. I hit it in the middle. He goes, no, you got to hit it at the edge. Oh, okay. So anyway, he got me going. He told me to get a tuner. He told me what to do. And we're still great friends.
Wow.
We stay in touch. We talk all the time. And he's watching the film thing. So hi, Dave.
He said, played with Kurt McGettrick's band. Kurt played in Frank Zappa's.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good player. Great drummer.
You have a few other people too who are saying hi. Let me just.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, like I don't know if you know Roland Ascaruns. He actually was around the $2 bill days. Norma Jean Garza.
Okay.
She said, let's see if I can read the Spanish. Que descarga tan hermosa.
Que descarga tan hermosa. What a beautiful jam. Thank you.
Billy Hulting.
Yeah, Billy. Yeah, that's a great one, man.
Norma also said she believes that music keeps you all so young looking.
Oh, thanks.
I thought you'd like to hear that.
I got hair.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Gosh. I mean, it looks really great.
Yeah, that's what I say. I went to get a haircut. I asked the girl that cuts my hair, hey, maybe I should dye my hair. She went, never. And my wife won't let me do it either. So
I love it. Well, of course, this is my natural stuff too, but it looks great.
I'm natural. Thank you. Thank you.
Also, Greg Karukas is here.
Greg Karukas. Fantastic. Almost my neighbor. He's a fantastic keyboardist. Hey, Greg.
Toby Simmons, who's a big fan and helps a lot of music people. Tekka.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And Roland wants to know, his thing is Zappa. He said, how is it possible that having played with so many diverse artists, you never played with Zappa?
Oh man, I don't know. He never called me. That was pretty difficult music, though. I'm not really sure I could have cut that, man, to tell you the truth. That's a really I heard a story of a drummer. I'm not gonna mention names. The drummer did end up getting the gig, but he heard about that Frank was auditioning people, so he called. He got the number and he called, and it was Frank on the phone. And he says, "Okay, yeah, I heard you audition. Yeah, okay." And Frank's answer was, "Are you a great reader or a phenomenal reader?" That was his answer. Well, I read pretty good. Anyway, he got the gig. But I don't think I could have gotten it there. That's too difficult shit, man. That's difficult.
That's some difficult shit. Yeah. I know, really, man. Let's see. I have a bunch of questions, but one question because of what we heard. So there was Walt Fowler, there was Jimmy Bramley, there was Jimmy Johnson, there was Barry Coates, and you've already told us about the percussion, the conga player.
Yeah.
So first, Barry Coates. So Barry Coates is a great guitar player. He was also around from those days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, his band was one of the bands that worked to come back in, and great music, just always a great musician, nice person. So you've apparently have you been friends since then, and then written together? And
yeah, we met. I mean, back in the day, he could probably tell you about the year long back in those days. We were playing to come back in and $2 bills and all that. And he had a band called Barry Coates and the Hats.
Yeah, I remember that band. Yeah.
And somehow he called me if I wanted to go rehearse with them and play. I mean, that's how I remember meeting him. I don't know how he got my number, etc.
Yeah.
And, we played a bunch of gigs. We recorded a couple of records of his, et cetera, et cetera. And then, I'd see him once in a while and we lost track of each other. And when that club was still open, that place called Café Cordial.
Yeah.
back in, this might have been 2004 or something like that, 2003 or 2004. I was playing a gig there with someone, and there's Barry. Barry comes in with his wife. I've not seen him in a long time. Hey, man, blah, blah, blah. Oh, give me your number. I lost your number, man. Here's mine. And he called me. He says, hey, if you ever want to get together, I get together on Wednesdays or Tuesdays with a couple of cats. And, just like what would be nice to do in LA that people don't do as much, which is get together and play for no money, just to play.
Yeah.
At homes, at places, at the house. So I said, yeah, I'll come down. So it was Jimmy Johnson and Barry, Jimmy Johnson, the bass player, and Tommy Bregline.
Yeah.
And we were playing some of his tunes, and these tunes were great. He writes, Barry really love the way he writes.
Yeah, me too.
And so, one thing went to another, we just kept getting together, and then I said, man, let's do a little record,
Yeah.
I love this song and that song. I said, man, and he says, why don't you do your record and play a couple of my songs. And I go, okay. So we started doing that, and then co-wrote some songs. And it's the record that I did. It's called Marimbula. That came out, I think, in 2008, something like that. So we kind of we've known each other forever, and then lost track of each other, and then got together again. And now we hang all the time. I mean, I haven't seen him in a while. We just talk on the phone. We talk every week. And there's this record called 12-String Universe that's going to be coming out soon. That's his album. And I co-wrote a bunch of stuff with him. And he basically is pretty much all guitars, bass, and percussion.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Very, very nice. It's a very beautiful record. Very beautiful.
I haven't heard his music for a long time, but I remember really loving it. So I'm gonna actually go look for that. Sounds great.
12-String Universe.
Yeah. Then of course there's Jimmy Brandley. Jimmy Brandley is so divine.
Man,
he's one of the best drummers I've ever heard. Yeah. Yeah,
man. Because Jimmy. The thing with Jimmy is like Jimmy comes from Cuba, right? And all I know about Jimmy when I hear he's in LA or he's coming to LA.
Yeah.
I think he defected in Canada or something, and then somehow got to LA and And all I knew about him, he used to play with all the greatest, the baddest bands in La Habana, in Cuba. He was the drummer with NG La Banda, which was like at that time the band. And everybody else. He's a super famous guy down there. So I figured, he's a great Latin player, great Cuban player. But when we meet and we start talking, and like he's into, he's into jazz and into everything, and we're like, this cat is, because there's a lot of guys that are just real purists, they just stay on that thing. So man, Jimmy's like versatile, and we started playing around. Guys started hearing him, Jimmy Johnson, all the cats started hearing him. Says, man. So this is a Cuban-born, hardcore and Cuban-bred. Because I'm not really quite bred there. I mean, I was there until I was 15. This guy, he was there in his 20s, in his early 30s, playing with all that real badass cats. Comes out here and it can. And he's now playing with, he's on tour right now with Colin Hay with Men at Work.
I know. He was supposed to be on the show, and he got sick, I guess, and then he went on the road.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Yeah, I remember I was booking this place downtown across from Disney Hall called Bar Fedora. I don't think he ever played there. But he played there several times, and it was a small room. It held about 60 or 70 people, but in a really nice kind of a New York club kind of style, really nice. And boy, just watching and listening was real joy.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet, but I haven't heard this record yet. I don't know if it has already come out. But Barry was telling me the late Lyle Mays.
Yeah.
There's an album that's coming out that he did while he was sick and just before he passed.
Really?
And Jimmy's on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lyle Mays, I guess you played with Pat Metheny too.
Yeah.
did you play for a while on the road, or you could?
I played and recorded. I did the first thing. My first encounter with Pat. It was actually through Steve Rodby, who's the bass player that played with Pat forever and co-produces a lot of his records and stuff. And first we were doing. Steve was here in town. I didn't know him, and there was a fellow named Bill Gable, great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know him. Yeah, great
and
composer.
Bill was doing his own record, and we had a song that he wanted to cut live. He goes, "Man, can you come like at 9 a.m. to Westlake Studios and record? I got this tune, but we have to do it this early because the bass player's got to leave on an airplane. He's playing with Pat Metheny the night before." Oh, okay. So you don't have to bring anything. So that's how I meet Steve Rodby, and we hit it off. And I guess Steve told Pat about me, and next thing I know, Pat calls me, and they hire me to go to New York and record with for an Israeli jazz singer named Achionam Nini, who's fantastic.
Wow.
If you ever can look her up, her last name Nini is N-I-N-I.
N-I.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell Achionam, but it's
How do you say it?
in Hebrew it's Achionam, but it's
Achionam, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Okay.
record, and so that's how I meet Pat. And the sessions went great over in New York, and I came back home. The next thing I know, he called me, and he wanted to go. He says, "I'm doing a trio tour in Europe, just Rodby, him, and myself, if I could do it." But unfortunately, I was already booked.
Oh God, that would have been amazing.
That would have been amazing, but you know how it is. I was already booked for something else. Man, I can't do it. So then he called to record that record, "We Live Here." Yeah, and then I did part of the "We Live Here" tour, and then I left, and then I didn't see him for quite a while. Then I just did his. Well, I think he just got a brand new record, a second to last record, called I forget what it's called.
Is this the tour that he's doing now?
I think the tour he's doing now is from the latest record.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
I happened to have bought a ticket to go to Irvine. It's called Side Eye.
Okay, yeah, that's a new one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go October 1st. I don't know if I've ever seen him live, and like once he got famous. When I was at Berkeley, he came, he would come and go, but he played with Mick Goodrick in this. It wasn't anything. It was like a storefront that was empty, and one night,
Wow.
they gathered a bunch of students, and just the two of them played. And I've always been a guitar fan, so I was there. And but I don't think I've ever heard him in a bigger, like once he was famous. And
Man, he's a genius, man. We went, my wife and I. He invited us to come and see him after we did that album because we reconnected.
Mhm.
I'm embarrassed that I don't know the name of the record. I have to go get it and tell you when you take a break. And my wife and I were, and Lupe, she's not really a huge fan. She listens to jazz, but her thing is like she likes R&B and she likes all this other kind of music. So, let's go see Pat. We went there, and it was fantastic. It was at the Lobero Theater in Santa Barbara. With Antonio
Nice theater, yeah.
Sanchez and the Japanese bass player. I forget their names now. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm sorry. And the pianist.
Don't be embarrassed.
And Pat, and it was just really, really great. And
Yeah.
my wife Lupe just loved it. And
It's great music. It's
unbelievable.
it's very satisfying, and it's great for traveling, actually.
Oh yeah.
I have noticed that. It's like when I'm on a train or,
Oh,
plane or something, that music really opens you up to that space.
so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. I wrote lyrics for one of his songs. I should send it to you. I don't know. You might not know it. It's from an old record, something Circle. Her
First
in
circle.
First Circle, In Her Family. It's a beautiful ballad.
I have to listen to it.
Ba
Yeah.
ba da 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 da. Ba da 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 da. Anyway, I'll send it to you. I wrote lyrics for it
Wow.
years ago, and he okayed it for publishing.
Very
He
cool.
Yeah, he really loved the lyrics, so of course I'm flattered, but real beautiful song. One of those just, you know, pull your heartstrings, Beautiful.
That's wonderful. Yeah, his music is. There's some songs I love. There's that tune called Antonia. That's on Secret Story album.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful, man. And, it's a whole bunch of Last Train Home. I love them.
I know. I know. Yeah. One time I did a workshop in let's see. Gosh, talk about remembering. I can't remember everything. Uh it was Argentina. Was it Argentina? It was a strange area. It was kind of it was there was a summer camp that was on an island that you could only get to in the summer because in the winter the road was covered with water.
Right.
And so there was this camp, and I was teaching there. It was like a week, and whose name I can't remember. One of the singers with Pat, very famous.
Oh, Pedro Aznar?
Yes,
Oh,
he was
man.
there. He was also a teacher. God, Hermeto Pasquale was there.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, man, you
kidding.
were there?
Yep.
Oh, man.
It was quite a beautiful experience, really beautiful.
That's gotta be incredible.
Yeah.
Alberto and Pedro Aznar and all those. Oh, my God.
I'm telling you, I wept when I left those people. It was heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh God.
Hermeto, wow.
Oh,
What a genius, man.
oh my God.
Yeah. They rehearse every day. They play every day in this. Do you know about this?
No.
When they go back, I forget what part of Brazil he was in, but his group, because I saw him a couple of times, and they all told me, yeah, it's true. They play every day. They got together and played every afternoon. They all live in the same kind of neighborhood, and they just go to the house. And this is what you're doing at 2 o'clock. I don't know, 2 o'clock, 2 to 4 every day. What do? We play music. Incredible. That's the way. What a life, huh?
What a life.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah.
If you could do that every day, got people come over. I would love that. People
Yeah.
come over. Okay, 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day. Let's just play.
Yeah.
And then everybody go home, and then the next day we create and the things. It would be nice.
Well, if you ever do that, call me up.
I will.
I want to come over.
Definitely, man. It would be really great. Actually, that's a good idea. 'Cause-
It is a good idea. I know there are people who do that. I know Armando Campion does that at least once a week, and even did it all through the pandemic. They went over to Rich Eames' house, and
Really, I didn't know that.
yep.
Oh, wow.
So I know people do it. I, as usual, Luis, being me, I just always create shit myself. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll call people, I'll get on this thing and I'll call up a different player, every week or for a month or something, and then get together. But but people don't generally call me.
The thing is, work and life, it makes it. It's not easy to do it.
It's not, and that's why we get gigs, so we can do it.
Right. And when the pandemic is around, there's no gigs, then we can't do anything.
Somebody I talked. Oh, it was yesterday. I talked to Tom Peterson.
Yeah.
So his family, the Peterson family,
all of them, yeah.
Minneapolis. So I talked to Patty Peterson yesterday.
Okay.
She's told me she's a great singer. She's his cousin, and she said during the pandemic they actually created these truck beds. Like her family or something would get a truck bed and they'd set up a band on the truck bed, and then somebody else would, and they'd be playing together from these truck beds.
Wow. Wow. Well, yeah.
Pretty creative.
Yeah, that is. Ricky Peterson, great keyboard player. Ricky?
Yeah.
Another great player, man.
That whole family is crazy. That's like it's like an empire.
All I know is it was maybe the pandemic thing, the shutdown, and it's now maybe June or July, and this friend of mine, Miguelito Leon, is a fantastic conga player, percussionist. I had some stuff from that I've been cleaning up. Everybody was cleaning everything.
Yeah.
Man, I got a whole bunch of extra heads, man. You need any heads, you know? So, yeah. So he's the only guy that comes over and says, yeah. So I open the garage and here are the heads, man. Pick a couple you like, you know. Takes the heads and there's two conga drums there in the corner. I was like, let's go! Ah! I mean, it was like, oh my God. I mean, I haven't played with anybody since March. You know, I didn't play with anybody, another person
Yeah.
that reacts to what it's unbelievable. You know, what a weird time.
What a weird time, man, huh? Woo! It is a weird time.
Still weird.
Yeah, it's still weird. But who did I talk to? Oh, yeah. I talked to a friend of mine. She's a film composer, so she doesn't really have to go out or get together with people physically. And she's more cautious. And I guess it's just not in my nature to be super cautious. You know, I'm going out. I have a gig twice a month that even is a jam session too, and people who are comfortable come out, you know. And now I'm starting to go out a lot to listen to music. Tonight I'm going to that Just Jazz, you know, that series.
Yeah. Who's playing?
Taylor Eagsty and this bass player, Ben Williams. Have you heard about him?
No.
Okay, another great. So Ben and I saw them there too. Him and John Davis, this drummer. They moved from New York about a year ago. Check out these guys. And the drummer he's one of those drummers who you're like is genius. He's fascinating. Super creative and tasteful, and then Ben is like melodic and rhythmic, and the two of them together, it's just amazing.
What does Ben play? Bass, is it?
Well, Ben Williams plays bass, yeah. Okay. So they're. I mean, well, at least Ben is in this group tonight. I don't know if John is, but yeah, just that was great. So in the last few months, the last 3 or 4 months, I've been going out and seeing music, and I feel like it probably partly because coming out of the pandemic, but also because of the quality of music that I'm listening to. I just feel like my DNA is changing. It's so great. I'm going and listening, and I feel like I'm really open, and I'm soaking in these amazing things, and I just feel like my DNA is changing. It's great.
Music will do it, man. Music will do it. It'll make you happy, sad, everything.
You're from you grew up in Cuba till you were 15.
Yeah, I'm from Santiago de Cuba.
And you were playing then, or you weren't?
Well, a lot of people ask me, man, you're in Cuba out there hanging out with los papines and this and that, and muñequitos matanza and the rumba and all this. I went, well, okay, my grandmother lived in Havana. It was my mom, because my mom originally is from Havana. My whole father's family is from Santiago. So my dad, he was a doctor. He met my mom in medical school in Havana, which was the only university at the time. And they got married, and so my mom moved to Havana. So my grandmother, who was a widower already, was still in Havana, and she would come and visit and stay 2 or 3 months with us, and then go back to Havana, about 2 or 3 months, and come back again. Whenever she would come home to Santiago and stay with us, she would bring me an instrument. Because she said, this boy loves to play music. And he's always banging on things. So she bring me a guiro, bring me maracas, bongo, everything, all the instruments. And, so that was what I was doing. And I would sit next to, my mom had the radio on all the time. My dad was a doctor. If he wasn't a doctor, he would have been a musician. He loved music. He played some percussion. He played a little guitar. He played a little piano. loves to sing, knew all the songs, would listen to the radio, and he would tell you. We'd be sitting in the car, and he'd listen to a song would come on, and he's the kind of guy who would go like, check out the bass line. You know, this is a doctor. Check out the bass, man. The bass is singing. I remember that. Yeah. So that was my family was like that. The radio's on all the time, and I would just sit and play all these instruments to the radio. It was, you know, she would put out, you know, the popular, whatever the top 40 in Cuba thing is, you know, Orquesta Aragón, Benny Moré, Celia Cruz, you name it, you know, blah, blah, you know, Chabotín, all the great Cuban bands, and I would just switch from instrument to another instrument, to the bongos, to whatever. But my love was really playing guitar. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh, wow.
And when I was there in Cuba, I mean, I really didn't. I mean, I was around the thing, and I would be around in the carnival where they were rehearsing. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but where the drummers were playing.
Yeah.
Where the rumba was happening, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else where the rumba was happening.
Yeah.
If it was close to my house, I'd tell my dad, come on, let's go over there. But I was listening to the Beatles, man. And all the American music I could get. That's what I was into. When I was in Cuba, that's what and I'm not ashamed to say it because it's a great thing. So I was listening, my dad had a radio that he had bought, it was some Russian radio or something, that got some station that I still don't know what it is, in English. Now I live people go, oh yeah, it's probably Miami. It's not Miami because I live in southeast. Actually, I'm north of Jamaica, west of Haiti, okay? So, matter of fact, in Santiago, they felt that earthquake. That just happened, an earthquake, not as bad in Haiti. Anyway, and so I would listen to, I didn't know what I was listening to.
Yeah.
The Beatles, the Stones, Aretha Franklin, the Four Tops, the Mamas and the Papas, Monday, all that stuff. And I was trying to figure it all out on the guitar. So that's what I was doing. And then I put the guitar down and then, I'll play some bongos to the radio. But that wasn't what I was going to do. I wasn't going to go do that. If I was going to do anything, I was either be a doctor like my dad or something else or a guitar player, a rocker, you know. So I come out here and I'm totally, you know, it's a long story. We don't want to get into. I came legally and I had to go from Cuba, from Santiago to La Habana to Spain, Madrid. I was supposed to be in Madrid for 4 months until I had a visa to come to the United States. And I stayed in Hollywood, out of all places, because I had a cousin of my dad that lived in Hollywood. The only relative I had outside of Cuba. I was basically alone out here.
Yeah.
This guy was nice enough to take me in. He lived out of all places in Hollywood. So now I start going to Hollywood High.
Yeah.
And the whole thing starts kind of rolling, and I start meeting some guys and put a little band together, and then songs starts coming along. There's some Motown songs with congas in it, Chicago, bands like that start happening, and we need some of this. I can do that. So I started gravitating towards the congas, and that's how I got into the thing. Way late.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of late, isn't it?
Yeah, very late.
Yeah.
Very late.
Yeah.
Like, just senior in high school, man.
Do you feel like
I didn't really find the drums, really find the drums until I graduated from high school.
Huh. Do you feel like the harmonic, you know, like the guitar has I guess affected your conga playing?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
My complete percussion playing is affected and that's maybe I play the way I play because of that. Because I'm not just hearing rhythm. I hear the notes.
Yeah.
I hear the chord progressions. I hear all that stuff that's going on. You know. It's
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
So it's a thing. It's not something, you know, you don't think about it, but I know when I'm playing, I'm being affected by not just the rhythm that we're playing, is what the music is doing. And maybe why I do what I do, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that's.
And my dad, you know, he he loved big bands, you know. So he had all Tommy Dorsey and he had all these records of. I mean, I heard everything, you know, down there. Because with this radio, I I heard the current Western music. Because in Cuba it's imperialist music. We're communists. We're not listening to American music. Those people are pigs, you know. So we have to hide to listen to this stuff. So, and then my dad had a bunch of records are from the old days. You know, he had a bunch of Glenn Miller stuff. He had Tommy Dorsey. I forget other ones. He had two fantastic Nat King Cole records, and I would just listen to that stuff over and over with my dad. Just amazing. My sister comes in. This is before the very beginning. When I first encountered rock and roll, my sister comes in with a 45. I don't know how she got a hold of it, and it was Elvis. This is way back. Hound Dog and Crown and Don't Be Cruel. You know? What is that? You know. And then she had like, because she's older than me, so she had like Bill Haley and the Comets, Rock Around the Clock.
Rock Around the Clock.
She had, oh man, Ozzie Nelson, Ricky Nelson.
Yeah.
Records like that. Doris Day. I love to listen to Doris Day because I like the English. The reason why I speak English sort of well, I learned English when I came like really fast. I was speaking English in about 3 months once I got here. I really liked the language, and I would pay attention to the songs.
Yeah.
And Doris Day and Nat King Cole were the only singers that I could understand.
Oh.
I mean, I could sort of pick out words.
Yeah.
Pronounced. And Frank Sinatra. My dad had a Frank Sinatra record. And that my dad used to say, this guy, I can understand every word he says. But all the other singers, like, what's Elvis saying? You know, I don't know. You know. Yeah, so that's how I get started, man. You know, that's what was happening back there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Made me laugh actually a little because I remember, you know, I've been to Japan a lot and teaching a lot too there. And this one boy who was a rock singer and he was imitating, you know, American rock. And he had this kind of image of himself, you know, that was kind of, you know, yeah, you know, that kind of that kind of rock image, but he didn't know what he was saying.
Right.
So his words were, and I asked him, and he said, "I said, do you know what you're saying?" And he said, "No."
Yeah.
Like
that's the Japanese. The Japanese will do that, and I remember. Did you ever hear Orquesta de la Luz? Orquesta de la Luz. There were a Japanese, truly Japanese band.
Yeah.
From Japan that did salsa, you know, Cuban music straight up.
Yeah.
And they actually had a hit in the salsa world. They were
wow.
They came out here. They played in New York and all that stuff. And I was in Japan, and they performed somewhere, and I went with a couple friends, local guys that I know, and they took me, and the girl singer was killing, and she's going, "Oye, tú sabes que mira, oye, you know, the whole deal, like Celia and them, you know." And at the end of the show, you know, I get up there, say hello, I meet the guys, and I go to her. He goes in Spanish, "Oye, eso es buenísimo, tú sabes, me gustó mucho, blah 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 blah." And she looks at me and goes, "No Spanish, no Spanish. No, sorry, sorry." I go, "Oh, it's just all phonetically."
Yeah.
And she was dealing, man. I'm telling you, you know how in Cuban music you have the verse and then you have that chorus and then it's question and answer, you know, chorus and answer. And she's like, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't believe it. It's all memorized.
Yeah, that's really wild, isn't it?
Really
yeah. But also, I think they probably do. She probably did speak Spanish, but she was too embarrassed or something to really have a real conversation. I mean, maybe she's not fluent, but she probably understands it. I mean, to do that, you have to understand what you're doing, right?
No, but she said no. Hey, but I do have to add, like, when I was doing all of that in Cuba, while I'm in Cuba, on all those influences that I was saying. On the other hand of that, like I said, my dad loved music. My grandmother, who was living in Havana, he would come and visit. I would go to Havana sometimes and stay with her, and she
Yeah.
practiced Santeria, which is this Afro-Cuban religion, where they play bata drums. And every Sunday, when I would stay with my grandma, I spent, I'm talking 12, 8, I don't know how many hours
Oh,
in these places where they're playing bata, ceremonies and stuff.
yeah.
And they're playing, they're singing. And I would like go and grab the achere, which is in the bata orchestra ensemble. There's one person that plays a maraca. Just it has to be a closed instrument, so it's maraca. And they just play a 6/8 chuck 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 chuck. And I would grab the achere and play that for along with these guys. And the bata thing is like the root, so complicated and so syncopated, and is so influential in all the Afro-Cuban rhythms. It's the actual one of the main roots of it. I was right in the middle of the thing, just getting it all in like this. That's why when I said, "Oh, I want to play percussion," it was like, "Oh yeah, oh that goes like that, yeah, sure." It was just really, it was really easy for me to just jump in. It's because it's almost like I was playing all that music without playing it. It was just coming into me without even paying attention. It was just around, It's wild.
That is amazingly cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember sitting in. I never played the bata drums, and I sat in with. I was in a situation where the great Francisco Aguavella, who's passed away, he was a great. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He lived in LA for years. He's one of the pioneers. He's like, and a real expert on these instruments, a real entity. And I remember I never played one of those things before. I just played the achere, but I wasn't around it. And now I'm in LA, and I'm in a situation with here's Francisco, and there's 3 batas, and there's 2 guys, him and another guy, and then another guy. And Francisco said, "Hey," and I put the okonkolo, which is the little one, on my lap. And he goes, "Play this." And I just go, "Ting, ting, 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 ting," and then it go off. And I'm like holding the thing down. And Francisco, after the fact, I remember he goes, "Oye, where are you from? Where'd you come from?" Blah, 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 blah. Well, hey, you can play bata, if you want to. Like, you come over and study with me. I never did study with him, but yeah, there was a lot of natural stuff, man.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I actually wanted to talk to you a little bit about something related, which is so God, I forget. I look at so many different things. I'm one of those people who has like 20 tabs up on on my internet and stuff. But
I got 20 tabs in my brain. I can't remember.
yeah, I'm not sure what I was remembering, but we're talking about rhythm being the entry or the connection to kind of spiritual connection to God or whatever you want to, however you put that in your own words. But and it just made me think about Latin and also Indian rhythms, which on just looking from the outside, you see, it seems like there's so much of a repetitive rhythm, very solid, time-wise. And I just wondered about that. Have you thought about that, or has that come into your life at all?
I don't know. What was the question?
Well, the question is, have you considered that rhythm or percussion is some kind of, I don't know exactly what my question is, connection to God, or is it necessary, or is it an incredible, does it actually make people connected without them knowing, or something along those lines?
I don't know. I definitely think that everything I do came from above, man. I believe in God, so it's God's gift. And first of all, I don't own it, so I pass it on. I teach anybody that wants to learn anything. Anybody that wants to ask me, "How'd you do that?" I'll tell you, because I don't own it.
Yeah.
And there is that one moment where when you're in that zone, like, what is it? Baseball players call it, they see the baseball this big. The guys that are hitting the ball and they got into incredible hitting streak because they see the ball this big. Or the basketball players, they get in the zone and they can't miss, whatever that is, There's a thing when we're really locked into the music and you're really in there, you're connected to God. I really believe it. You know what I'm saying? When you're like, you're not thinking anymore. Where you get those moments where you just, it's like a Zen thing, like a karate thing. Those guys that break those bricks with the hand. It's like, how can you do that? Because you're like connected to something. So I really believe that, man. When you're there, it's the most beautiful feeling there is.
Yeah.
And so that's got to be God.
Yeah, I agree. And what about rhythm? Like, sorry to ask this question. It seems like kind of a funny question to get into more, unless I'm a student per se, but it seems like your job as the percussionist many times is holding something that's similar for a long time, a particular rhythm, obviously time, we want to keep our time good, but also a rhythm. Now, is that something that you learn as a percussionist? Do you, or a drummer, are you supposed to repeat something for a long time so that the band can work off you, or it's building tension into a release, something like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we both start talking at the same time, it would be a worthless interview because what are they talking about? I'm talking about, so we are, no matter whatever kind of music it is, if we're playing the drum, we're timekeepers, most of the time. And there's a moment to stretch. When we're talking jazz, maybe a more open kind of a thing, you're still reacting to everybody else, and somehow you're holding down or accentuating or just insinuating where time is, even when you're playing totally free,
Yeah.
So, but in most of the stuff that I do, I'm a timekeeper. So, and I love rhythm, and I love a thing where everything is going like this. So, in coming from an Afro-Cuban background, we have a word called mazacote. Mazacote, Mazacote. It means a big, large, like if you're making pizza and you get the dough, that big dough, and you're doing this to the dough, that's a mazacote. Something like that.
Right. The kind of a molding or.
Yeah, or a big, if you had a huge piece of clay and it's going like this, for the translation in Spanish is mazacote is something like that, something like this.
Yeah.
But it translates, I don't know who came up and how got into Cuban music, and it's when the conga player and the timbal player and the bongocero and the guiro player and the bass player and the piano player, and they're all doing a rhythm and they're doing that. When that thing is locked, it's called mazacote, and there's nothing better than that. It's fantastic, and it grows it just grows. So I like keeping time, and I think there's nothing wrong with just keeping a steady. When I started playing the congas, I started playing in Cuban bands. My job was like playing tumbao 99% of the time. And when you get to the chorus, you double it up with the second drum and back and forth. And it's just what it is. But you are part of that link. If that link goes out the window, the band stops grooving. You're that one link. Or the other guy, whoever's playing drums, or any other rhythm players. It's really important. I don't think playing steady time is boring. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
You guys go like, it's what the music needs. If it's time, just like a conversation. You're listening to me now because I'm speaking. Then you talk and I listen. Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember when I first heard Weather Report.
Yeah.
So before that, I grew up in a musical family, and my dad was a sax player. So, it was mostly Great American Songbook, and I was Ella Fitzgerald, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then, of course, rock came along, and I had sisters a little older than me, so I also was hearing, the Beatles and all that kind of stuff. And then I got into Berkeley, and I was choosing my own stuff, and amongst other things, when I heard Weather Report, I felt like my body was actually, I don't know how to describe it, kind of opening up, stretching and opening up, and my space expanded, I guess,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Right.
remember realizing, and I spoke to Peter Erskine about this once too. You'll like this story. So, he was with Stan Kenton, right? So that's like somebody does a lick and you mimic, right? And that's cool.
Yeah.
And so he was like 21 or something. So he'd gotten into the band, and he and Joe Zawinul were standing around listening on a big speaker to Black Market or something or whatever it was. And they heard him do something like that, like a matching.
Ah,
And Joe and Peter felt kind of,
that's
cocky.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And Joe said, "Too bad you had to do that."
Oh, that's cool. That's perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
So of course his life changed from that point on, but just so delicious. And actually I use that image for my students who are, too locked into everything the same. I say, I get a little elastic bands, and I put one edge of it around a pencil, and this is the time. And then you have your elastic band, and I have mine, and the drummer, and everybody.
Man, that's cool.
And we're all doing whatever we want to with our end, because we all have a common end that is this.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's a
amazing.
good image,
That is fantastic. That is a great way to teach somebody.
Yeah.
That's really good. You heard that. You thought of that.
I mean,
I'm gonna use that.
cool.
If you don't mind.
I just love that, well, I don't know. I guess it's from that point, but space, the use of space, and your job. Well, like when I see you play, you are definitely for long periods of time keeping the same time, but then when you stretch out, you're still on that boat. The boat is still traveling.
Yeah.
You're doing some different things, but underneath you, it's the same rhythm, right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I think so. I don't even.
You're one of those guys, you can't like really rip it apart, in words, because it's about feel, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't really think that much,
Yeah.
Never really have. And I also, if I have to think too much about the music, then I don't want to play. I don't want to play that music. If I have to think too much,
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, yeah, of course, while you're doing it, you're not thinking about it. But looking at it afterwards, or, like from this point of view, it's I mean, I like to talk about it because it's fascinating to me, and it's fascinating.
but the thing about the pencil and the elastic and the rubber bands, that's a perfect explanation, because when we're playing jazz. Okay, here's a quintet, whatever, and here's the thing, and that's right. As long as you focus on that, and you can go over there, that's the thing. But I mean, when you see me play, I mean, I don't know if I'm just playing the music, man. And I hear a place play a fill, I play a fill. If not, I just play a groove.
Yeah.
Know,
Yeah. Well, that's what makes you a great player, and people want to play with you because, you're doing that. I'm gonna actually look you up some more, and let's this was a great song.
Thank you.
That was really beautiful. That was a good example of what we're talking about. So maybe you can point out I mean, these are more, a little more,
Those are more. Those are from the videos. The one that you have there. That's a percussion video.
here's, no, that's,
What is that one?
oh, wait a minute. I was going to say this has a bunch of different things.
Okay.
Let's see. So there's, oh, yeah, you play with, are you playing with James Taylor these days?
No, not now. They're on tour right now, but we've been having my wife needs to stay home, and she hasn't been doing too well, so I can't go on the road right now. I have to
Oh,
take care of her. Yeah.
I see.
So
Um,
they're on tour. I got Mitch Sanchez, Michito. You ever remember Michito when he was living in LA? He's
I
the
don't
guy,
think so.
Michito Sanchez.
So,
He's subbing for me. It's gonna be probably I just had a talk with James and stuff. It's probably the rest of the year. So,
oh, really? Okay.
but I'm
Uh,
good. I'm good at home. We're doing good.
yeah. So I don't know if any of these, can you see these? Oh, you played with Pancho and
There's Jimmy Brantley and Luis Conte there, 2013. That's kind of like it's a little thing we did.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that was cool. So I want to ask you about timbales
Yeah.
because I don't know why, but I just love the sound of timbales.
Really? Wow. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
it really turns me on to hear timbales. So, have anything to say that's interesting about timbales? Because I've never really talked to anybody about it, actually.
Well, the timbal, is another name for timbales or timbal in Cuba is paila. That's
Paila.
a lot of people don't know paila, which means a cooking pot. Not
Oh,
paella. Yeah, so it's two
ah,
cooking pots.
yeah.
And but the timbal for me is actually it came along secondarily. I started playing bongo and congas, and I just from playing, I would watch the timbale player when I was playing. I started playing in Cuban bands here, and I watched what the timbale player was doing. I said, "Oh, I can do that," and do that, and then I started. But when you get into it and start playing the timbales in a band like that, like in the traditional, if you're in the traditional world, there's so many different worlds, right? So if you're in the traditional world with the timbales, you kind of like the high. If you go back to before these Cuban bands had a drum set player, the traditional thing is conga, bongo, and timbal. Kind of like when you saw my last band that you saw. The conga is down here. It's kind of like the bass drum. The timbal is like in the upper register, where it's giving all the little accents, and the conga is just laying it down. The bass drum is just laying it down, right? Conga is just playing time, man. And the timbal does play time, has different options of surfaces to go to. You can lift the band up, going from the cascara, which is when you play the sides, to go to the bells. And you have 2 or 3 cowbells. So depending on the combination of cowbells you're using, you can pick the band up even higher, even more. then you also have cymbals. I like sometimes to use two cymbals. The traditional guys use one cymbal, and you can even lift it up even more when you go over here. So you have a lot more colors than if you're playing the congas, or if you're even playing bongos. That's the beauty of the timbal drum, and it's also loud. You always heard, because the conga player, sometimes you're going like, I wonder if they're hearing me out there. Sometimes I can't even hear myself. And it's also, it doesn't, being a multi-percussionist now, I know what hand drums feel like on your hands. It's a lot easier on your hands to play sticks, to use the sticks. So it's a combination of a bunch of things, of that timbal drum. But the greats like Tito Puente, Orestes Vilato, Walfredo Reyes Sr., Changuito, Amadito Valdez, those are the guys I listen to. Nicky Marrero is another one. Rafi Lizarri. And I just, grab things from all the things and watch things that they did. Like, well, when the horn section starts blowing, the guys go to the cymbal and things like that. But it's you can paint the music a lot with the timbal,
Yeah.
That's what I think,
Yeah.
Now, some people, I'm glad that you said you really love the sound. Some people don't like them because they're so loud. Sometimes they go, "Oh man, don't set up so close to me." Like, right, yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're sitting next to it, it might be a little painful for your ears. But from the outside listening, it's just it's an exciting instrument.
Thank you. Yeah, and you can blow, man. When it's time for soloing, it's really, really, really fun.
Yeah.
It's all fun. But lately I've been getting more into it. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, my band, because I started doing that band that you first started with.
Yeah.
The band I've been playing with lately, and you saw it, is a little different. We're playing more traditional, old school Cuban style music.
Yeah.
And I've really been getting it, and it's easier to also lead the band if you're playing timbales than if you're sitting back there on the congas. So I said, well, I'm gonna play timbal, and I really love it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. That band was made up of some of the same players that played with you up in, was it Oxnard or somewhere in that gallery that was kind of like a.
Oh yeah, yes, almost the same guys. Different conga player.
Same pianist, right?
Same pianist.
And bass player, maybe?
Alberto Salas. Who played bass that day? Rigo. Okay, it was a couple different guys because they couldn't make the gig that you went to lately. When you saw the thing that we did in Oxnard, it was Alberto Salas on piano, Rigoberto Lopez, bass player, Gilberto Torres on flute.
Okay.
And Pablo Rodriguez played congas. But those guys were all, when you saw that band, when you saw me play, they were all busy doing something else. So I put another little thing together, and it worked out great, and we kept playing like that. We actually did another 3 gigs.
Yeah.
Later, Chapotin is a trumpet player, and Kevin played on congas. Yeah.
I love the pianist. He's really good.
Alberto, yeah. Alberto is a real purist, man, on the Cuban, real knowledgeable. If you want to know anything about Cuban music, like, hey, when was this song written? 1895. Okay, he'll
one of those
guys. And he knows all the styles and that music, that Cuban, in that Cuban band, as you notice, everybody talk about playing time and playing rhythm continuously. The piano player is doing the same thing. When you play the montunos, it's just over and over and over. And some guys see it as maybe it's boring, but some guys don't. Alberto just really is a master of that, of all these. There's all these different patterns and all these different styles inside the thing. People think, oh yeah, that's a tumbao. No, that's probably the lamest tumbao you can play. There's so many, so he's really, really great.
I think with anybody, especially comping instruments like that, it's kind of about the feel, the groove, the feel, because yeah, you just it with a real groove, playing the same thing over and over is you're continually making it groove, making the whole thing groove,
And it
and
grows.
that's huge, right? Yeah.
And the groove makes it grow. You know, there's a band who's not the original anymore, but I saw it. I saw that band. It was like probably the most famous band in Cuba when I was living there. You know, for of dance music,
Yeah.
popular music. It was Orquesta Aragon, Aragon. And if you listen to these guys, it's like everybody's playing time.
Yeah.
The only guy that's not playing time is the singers, and the singers are singing coro. When they're singing coro, that's time. This is over and
Yeah.
over repetition. There's a flutist, and the flutist is the one that kind of blowing all the time. Everybody else, including the violin section, it's like 3 violins, a cello, conga, timbal, bongo, no bongos, conga, timbal, guiro, singers, and flute, bass, and piano. And when the song is happening, listen to every instrument. Every instrument's got a pattern.
Hmm.
Once they get into the chorus, violin players, they're playing a rhythm over and over. You know, it's the nature of the Cuban, and it comes from Africa. It's repetitious, repetitious.
Like this whole rhythm machine that's
Yeah.
continuing on. Yeah.
And it just grows and grows and grows. And I love it. Sometimes I like I've heard somebody play and it could be over and over and over. Bass, piano player, rhythm players are playing, and there's somebody, everybody's in the rhythm section, the percussionists are all playing a groove, except for one percussionist is soloing. And it's just magic.
Yeah.
And the guy's blowing, whatever he's blowing, and everybody else is just boom, boom, and it just goes like this, and it grows and it keeps growing, and nobody's doing anything different, but it just keeps growing. It's amazing. Love it, man.
What happens at the end of the song?
Well,
Does
then then you resolve and you go into the
Does it resolve? So it's building its tension and release.
yeah.
The
At the
tension is
end,
really long because of this continuous.
yeah. Once you get out of that set, you go to the next section of the song, and you just come
Yeah.
out, and you're
Yeah.
releasing it. But that moment, that particular thing, it happens. I've heard it so many times. It's like, oh, here, guys playing. And when I used to watch Mongo play,
Yeah.
it was like he'd be wailing, but everybody else just holding that shit down, and it just it's like taking off on an airplane.
It's pretty wonderful. It's orgasmic. It really is. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah. Well, tension and release is, I mean, that's what everything is about to me. It's like life.
Yeah.
And you can, and breaking it way down, you can, as a singer, like again, when I teach my students and improvisation or even phrasing, I always talk about tension and release, and there are different things that stimulate tension, right? And one is notes, obviously. I'll give them an exercise. Put your hands on any chord on the piano. You don't even have to be a piano player. And then learn, and if you don't know it, but sing a chromatic scale, one note at a time, holding, and fall in love with the tension. Because some notes will have 99% tension and some will have 20%, but whatever it is, fall in love with it. Don't back off because you think it's wrong, because you feel the tension, right?
Yeah.
And that way because a lot of times when less experienced people will, and sometimes experienced people will make a face when they're doing something that they feel it's usually tension, right? That makes them go, ooh, I don't like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so just getting familiar with tension. And so that's but rhythmic, harmonic, and even it's funny because, I always get asked questions like, what vowels or consonants words do you use when you're scatting? And so I have kind of a bottom line that I use usually, and I say too much of anything is boring. So, like, but it's not a hard and fast rule, like what you were just saying. Some people might think it's too much to repeat, 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 but it's actually not, because it's the intention. And if you're in the moment and your intention and your presence, your groove, it's really about intention, isn't it? It's like, what do you want to come through? What are you paying attention to? And that's what makes all the difference in the world when you're playing or singing.
Yeah. It's just let it go, man. Let it just keep rolling.
But be here, be in the moment.
Be in the moment. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Blondal is here.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
So do you know Neil Vanerd?
Ooh, I'm not sure.
Okay, he's saying bravo.
Say hello. Hello.
Hello. So let's see what else we could listen to.
Yeah, man. I don't know if there's anything from that recent band that I've been playing at. That's not me.
No. What is
I don't know if there's anything in there.
well, would there be a name, or would it be
How do I make that bigger? Is that what we got?
well, this side?
There's things from Minor that I did with Jimmy, which I thought it was that one that you showed, but that was a.
I wonder if do you have a like this?
That's from Minor, yeah. Oh, you can show that if you want.
Oh, here's Marimbula.
Yeah, that's the record. Yeah.
Here's Shared Secrets.
I don't know that one. That's not me. I don't know what
No,
that is.
not you.
No, not Shared Secrets.
Yeah.
The Road, all that stuff's me. And Casa de Luis.
Oh, actually, yeah, you are on this record, but it's Peter Erskine, Abraham Laboriel, Vinnie Caluta, Alfonso Johnson, Benny Maupin. What a jeez.
Oh, wow. I don't remember doing that.
Pat Murphy, Larry Klimas, Ralph Rickard, and George Cables.
Oh my God, that's a long time ago.
Ralph,
You want to play something from a record, or you want to play a video?
Yeah, either one.
Well, go back to that other screen you had, because there's something in there that's. Remember the other screen you had that had like the video thingies?
And this one that has all these.
Yeah.
These?
Well, I don't know what that one is. What?
All these things, or?
I can't. You're going too fast.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me see. Well, you want to see a Conte solo? There's a. I can't see one. What it says is you see, this is Louise Appearance, Australia.
Yeah, right here.
Let's see what that is. I don't even know what that is.
A long time ago.
That's a long time ago. Before I lost weight. Time, man, time.
Yeah. How do you do that, Luis?
I don't know.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
Ajá.
What am I doing?
Señor dulcísimo, el día llega. Hoy mis labores
Esa es rumba.
voy a
Guaguancó.
empezar.
The time's still there.
Iré contento y con alegría. Si no te digo primero a ti, muy buenos días, muy buenos días. Mi alma contenta se alabará. Qué bueno eres, qué bueno eres. Mi alma contenta te alabará. Sé que en el cielo hay rumba buena. Y con su ritmo te alabarán. Ya suena el quinto y la tumbadora. Y con la rumba te rezarán. Qué bueno eres, qué bueno eres. Mi alma contenta te alabará. Muy buenos días, muy buenos días. Mi alma contenta. Te alabará. La rumba buena quieta. Que bueno vamos a gozar. La rumba buena quieta, con ella vamos a gozar, me vamos a gozar, me la vamos a gozar, la vamos a gozar, la vamos a gozar, con ella vamos a gozar.
You go.
Wow. Holy moly. Damn.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a song I wrote with Abraham Laurel.
Oh,
Rumba del Cielo is the heavens rumba. It's a Señor Dulcísimo, dear Lord, the day arrives. Today my work will begin. Hoy mi labores van a empezar. No iré contento y con alegría, but I will not I will not do this work happy and with happiness unless I say to you first, good morning. Muy buenos días, muy buenos días. Mi alma contenta te alabará. We will praise you with our heart.
oh, nice.
That's what that song's about. And
That's
then
beautiful.
the choral, la rumba buena quieta, con ella vamos a gozar. You know, this is a good rumba, good and clean rumba. We're gonna have a great time. That's what it says.
That's cool.
We wrote that on a bus in France on tour with a French artist. Abraham and I, and we're just like, oh man, that's cool. We just wrote it all down. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it seems so effortless. I know it's you have to practice that a lot, but it seems so effortless that you're doing the timing underneath the singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And you, if you notice, we were talking about time and all that stuff. In the whole thing, there's time under that. Even when I'm just like riffing on one drum, the time is still in there. And I think that while I'm watching that and we're doing this interview thing, I'm thinking, well, you're right. When you first start thinking as a Afro-Cuban percussionist of soloing, your first solo is when you play a quinto, which is the highest pitched drum, in an ensemble with other guys playing congas. That's your first experience. That was my first experience, or a bongo when you're blowing, right? And
Yeah.
so, but what's happening, you're playing, but what's happening behind you is everybody's playing time, and it's two other guys playing along, two or three guys playing along with you, and it's your chance to play the quinto, and that's sort of like how I first started thinking of playing a solo, was listening to a Wawanko and going pa pa tum, all in clave, right? Because it has to be in clave.
Yeah.
That lick, you add licks together, and you start getting your vocabulary going. But that's all with some time behind you. It ain't happening without any time. It won't happen unless there's time. That's a different way of. I can say something too that I noticed. I learned something when my son, who's now in his 30s, he started playing drums. Drums at, he's in high school, junior high, whatever. Hey, Dad, he starts, can I play your drums? Yeah, he's in my drums. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Jason's coming over. He plays bass. Can we play in your studio? Yeah, yeah. And so I'd come in the house and it would be him and two other guys or three other guys, two guitar players and a bass player, and him playing drums. And what I thought of was like, okay, this is one way of starting as a drummer, as a guy that hits something and makes music, like me going like this or whatever. His upbringing here is he's playing by himself. There's nobody else hitting something, creating music. Everybody else is playing a melodic instrument. He's on his own. When I started playing with other cats hitting something, there was two or three other guys hitting something. It's a different way of beginning. And it's a different way of where there's respect and you have to listen to these other three guys that are happening. And if I'm one of the guys that are laying it down, for you to get that quinto and blow on that, I gotta have a certain discipline. You know what I'm saying? That when you're playing drums by yourself, and I see that a lot, you encounter that a lot when I teach kids and they're drummers, they want to learn some percussion. They're not used to playing with somebody else that's playing time with them, that are hitting something, that are playing another drum. It's a different way of upbringing, musically.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. It's subtle, but it's kind of not subtle too. Yeah. Huh.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Just a thought.
Have you have you been a teacher in schools, or do you just teach privately, or?
I started teaching like privately, a long time ago when I was still like learning, and then, hey, would you like teach me to play some conga? I said, yeah. I started like that, but then, I've always been, thank God, so busy and stuff like that. I've never really been able to like be like a professor at a school or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did teach at Dick Grove's for a minute. Remember the Dick Grove School of Music?
Sure.
I think I might have done 2 semesters or so, and then I went on the road with Madonna, so I couldn't do it anymore. And so I continue always to have private guys. And now, yeah, the other school, and now I've been teaching, well, with the pandemic it ended, but it's going to start again. I do a Latin jazz combo class at Cal State Northridge.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's not actually, I'm not, well, I have two percussion players and a drummer, and I teach them what to do, but they've already been coached by other people. But I put them in, it's more of an ensemble thing, and we play Latin jazz, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. My pal Gary Fukushima works over there. He's
Yeah.
one of my favorite humans and players.
Gary's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Gary Fukushima. Yeah, it all ended with the pandemic, but now they're gonna start it up. They say the classes are gonna be outside.
Oh, really?
I said, okay, I'll do it.
Ah, interesting. Only in California. Well, not only, but
Yeah, well,
in
yeah.
California.
Chicago,
Anyway. Yeah,
Chicago
yeah.
in the fall? No, I don't think so.
What did I want to ask you? Have you ever? I mean, I talk about flamenco with Joey Heredia because
Yeah, he's a master.
Have you played flamenco? Is that a really different kind of music?
It's very different, but I love it, and I got into it because, I mean, when I encountered it, you got to get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's completely different of the. Some things are completely different, like bulerias and soleá and those rhythms in 12/8, and where the one is really two, is not one. You know.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah.
It gets complicated. I'm not an expert. I can hang
Yeah.
with the cats, but you know, if we're doing a bulerias and I'm in a real heavy duty ensemble, like these cats really are the real shit, you know, I think I'll take the cajon and give it to Joe.
Right.
Because they're going, it's just like if you came in here and you were doing a song where I'm playing bata, like we're doing a song and the song goes a certain way, there's certain changes. When you just stand outside, let these guys do it, you know, because it's completely, it's a thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love it. I respect it. I've worked with a great flamenco, well-known guy down in Andalusia, Jose Antonio Rodriguez. I've played with him, and I actually ended up spending 2 weeks with him in Miami. We were recording a record with Alejandro Sanz, who's a huge Spanish artist from Spain, and Alejandro brought him to Miami from Andalusia to play flamenco guitar. He's one of the greats down there.
Yeah.
And I spent 2 weeks with him, and all I did was ask him about, how do you do that? How do you do this? How does this go? How do you count this thing? How do you know? I'm totally into it. I love it. I really love it.
It's pretty amazing.
It's amazing, and I was honored to say that I got to see Camarón de la Isla, who is the greatest, as they say, all the flamenco guys, the god of the singers of flamenco is Camarón de la Isla. I got to see him live, man.
Yeah.
Before he died. Yeah, I got to, so love it.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Joey's explained it to me somewhat, and it's pretty mind-boggling, really. It's just a mind-boggling art form.
And when the guitar is going and the palmas,
yeah, and
the singing and it's incredible.
And the fact that the singer leads what's happening, like it's not improvisational, but it's not a form necessarily that is going to be repeated in the same way.
Right.
And that's kind of mind-blowing too. Boy, you got to be on top of the moment, right? Talk about them being in the moment. Woo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's amazing. I've been able to hang in Andalusia, went in Granada and Sevilla a couple of times and hung out with cats there. And it's a culture. It's just like if you're a rumbero, from Cuba, there's even a way you dress, There's a style. Or if you're a tanguista from Argentina doing tangos, there's a certain thing. Those guys got a certain thing, That's the beauty of music. Is all this, and percussion is so beautiful because you can be a geographer, man, an anthropologist or something, man. You have to study all these different worlds. All this music is, okay, I'm going to play cajon. Well, How's that go? Well, they're down where you can first you go to Peru, where Peru comes from, and you learn the Peruvians do, and then now you got to go to Spain and see what those guys are doing. That's just one instrument,
Yeah.
you know. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. When I was younger, I used to hate the sound of conga in jazz music. But I think as I grew older, I decided it's not that I hate all of conga in the music, it's the player, right?
Oh,
Right? But you know, in some of those older recordings, the conga player just it didn't really add to the music. It didn't support serve the music.
well, you want to hear what I think about this?
Yeah.
If we're doing a gig and you're gonna play a swing tune,
Yeah.
I've got my percussion ensemble, and there's Jimmy Brantley's playing drums. Let's say I'm playing percussion,
Yeah.
bass, and piano, and yourself. And now we're gonna do a whatever. It's a swing tune.
Yeah.
Great. See you later. I go over here. I go to the bar.
Wow, I'm not crazy.
No, you're not
Cool.
crazy. You're not crazy at all. I do not like have to go. Oh, okay. Well, it's not part of the thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's how I feel.
Okay.
So,
I feel
agree with you.
validated now.
I just get up and go. I say, you guys go ahead. Oh, yeah. I just played with Terry, friend of mine, Terry Wollman at Vibrato 2 Sundays ago. And yeah, there's a swing tune in the set. Hey, we're going to do a swing tune. Yeah, okay, cool. Time for me to go to the bathroom. I'm not playing on this. You don't play on this? No. Why not? Because I don't want to play boom boom kupash. Boom, boom, kupash. That's a drummer, man. That's for the drummers, man. That's
Yeah.
American. It's American. It's Afro-American.
Yeah, man. Let's see.
All right, Cathy. That's cool.
Yeah, thank you. I feel
You too. And I thought it was just me.
and I thought it was just me.
And something even worse. Now, let me tell you something that's real bad.
Yeah.
This is not in jazz on a, excuse me, on a swing tune. But when you got this is a big problem. When you have a drummer and I'm playing congas, or there's a percussionist here, and we're playing the tune straight eights, whatever it is, and the drummer starts playing on the tom. That's my part. Hey, put that stick away, will you? You know, that's the other thing. That's the other one. I was like, oh no.
See, that's subtleties that I might not notice, but you definitely, it's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have that too in, but like, you know what drives me crazy is like when I want to sing a tension note and the piano player adjusts his chord to fit my note. I'm like,
Right.
no, I intended to do that. You just
Right.
ruined my thing, you know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's things, you know, and there's things, something like that is like, you wouldn't notice it, but you know what's going on because you're doing it.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and that gets into, I guess, everybody's point of view because, for instance, you know, there have been piano players over the years that just like basically tell me you can't sing that note or it's not in the chord or doesn't go or whatever. But I don't see it that way. I mean, of course, you have to be familiar and you know, you have had to experience whatever your instrument is, your solo instrument, you know, you have to get to a certain level that where you're making music and you're not just screwing around with a tension note, for instance. But I also, I just don't agree with players who are like, it's almost like ADD, you know, an ADD player.
No,
You have to
hey,
fit
Cathy, I gotta,
into the thing, you know?
yeah. No. Hey, listen, I gotta get the charger. I have like 2% in my computer.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. We don't have too much longer, but I'm going to play something that,
Play something. I'll be right back.
yeah, This is what Dan shared. Let's see what this is. A lot of people, huh?
Oh, that gig. Oh.
You gonna get it? Rigoberto López de Cuba.
That's Rigo.
Okay.
Here we go.
Wow.
Here we go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dan actually said there's one of you in Admiro, which is
Oh. The thing called Clave Report. The tower. Yeah.
Jimmy Brownlee.
Yeah, this is the band. Jimmy Haslett, Cathy Buckingham, Jimmy, and Omar.
What did you say?
I said I was really this project we're doing called Clave Report. It never got off the ground, but we were getting together and playing. And it was really
God, this sounds unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great, man. Great music.
Okay, so I won't listen to the whole thing because it's long, but I seriously suggest to people to go listen, put it on, when we're finished here, which is basically now. But Wow, that is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a project. We called it Clave Report. And, we had some meetings, trying to get, even a Japanese record company to sign us or do some kind of a thing, but nothing happened, and then the pandemic and all this. So,
Yeah. That's really an amazing group of
yeah,
people.
great man.
Great, man. Well, Luis Conte, I want to thank you so much for giving us 2 hours. It's a lot of time.
I had a ball.
It's so nice to see your face, to talk to you, and find out even more than I knew before.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a treat, man, to see you, and I've known you for so long.
I know.
And I'm glad you asked me. It's
Yeah.
great to share. I love to share with people whatever they want to know. So I love it. So thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you too. I'm sure we could talk for another few hours, but
Yeah, we
I
gotta
didn't
play
want to ask
sometime.
you about all your different, Madonna, and
Yeah, we don't need to know about that.
I enjoyed the conversation a lot.
Thank you. Well, hopefully we can play. Maybe let's
Yeah.
play. Well, these days. You asked me. I forget when you asked me to play sometime before. I think you did.
Yeah, I forget. It was a while back.
I couldn't do it. Yeah.
Are you playing at the conference room again?
No, not right now because Andrew, Andrew Acosta?
Yes.
Andrew is the one that was setting it up. And he called me after we did the last gig, which is 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, man, so cool, let me know about September. I said, oh, I'm not going to book the band anymore after the end of I'm not going to book the place anymore at the end of August. If you want, call the owner. So I'm going to give it a rest.
Yeah. I'm sure the owner, would enjoy having you back though.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But we're gonna play a gig on the 25th of September at the Baked Potato.
Oh, okay. 25th of September.
A little while from now.
Is that under your name?
Yeah, my band. That band that you saw? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Do you do you play for Billy Halting too, who was on here?
I gotta get a hold of Billy now because now that things he hit me up a while ago. At the very beginning when he started doing, I forget what he calls his program.
0 p.m. or
Yeah, 0 BPM. And I want to get a hold of him because I'd like to do something with him. Maybe I'll do something with Barry and Jimmy when Jimmy gets back.
Oh God, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a little trio thing.
Yeah, that would be great.
So I'd have to, but I'll contact Billy. I forgot he's still doing that stuff, right? He's still doing it?
Yeah, he's still doing it. And if you, another just throw out to you, if you ever just want to play on a Sunday, at Michael's, which used to be Alphonse's,
Yeah.
Brad Rebuchin and Chris Blondell, they have a band. They've had a band there for a long time, but
Really?
Sunday evenings, 6:30 to 10, and you can, or to 9, 6:30 to 9, and it's kind of, a bit of an open jam session, but I mean, the band's always great, and it's kind of it's in the patio, which does have an overhead, but it's still
Outside.
kind of outdoors, and yeah, it's really very
Yeah,
listening,
maybe.
yeah.
What happened to? I never did go to this place. What's it called? The rehearsal room or the backstage?
Oh, the write-off room.
Is that going on?
That location closed, but you know where they're opening again. Oh God, what's the name of it? On Ventura Boulevard, near like where the sound room used to be. There's like the picture of the guy with the top hat and the mustache.
Oh.
It was
What is that?
might have been a gay club for a while or dance.
Oh yeah.
They
okay.
bought that.
Oh.
And supposedly like this fall, they're opening up.
Great.
They're going to be, their plan is to bring in bigger names for the weekends and then have local people during the week.
Oh man, that could be cool. And when are they opening? You said when?
Well, first I heard like September. Oh, Oil Can Harry's. Thanks, Roland. first I heard September or October, but actually Toby, who I mentioned before, who's usually on here, she's kind of working with them in PR
cool.
type of stuff.
I love to play in there. That would be good to play the band, put the band in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Because I used to play there when it was the sound room, you know.
Well, the sound room was not Oil Can Harry's.
Oh, it's not? Oh, I
No,
thought-
it was down, it was just down the block or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the sound room was great. No, but and remember that place? Remember that place? Let's see. How do I describe this? It's right across from the exit off of the 101
Magazine?
onto Ventura Boulevard. It's near the Baked Potato, but
Yeah.
down the street, and it
By
used to be
Poquito.
upstairs.
Yeah, by Poquito Más. That was called One for LA. We used to call it
Yeah.
we used to call it One for No Pay. Because it was the same cat as that ran the sound room. David, I think was his name.
David Abari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you know, I remember playing there, you know, Larry Klimas and Garfield and us were playing, like, we finished the night, we make like $4, you know. And it's like, and Larry Klimas is the one that came out. Wow, man, this club is turning into like One for No Pay. Yeah, One for LA, yeah. That later became a salsa club called Mama Juana's.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know,
It was it was a nice room. It was big, and yeah, it was.
it's just, except it's upstairs, and if you're a percussion player, it's a drag, man. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta like carry all that stuff up there.
Yeah, that's like Feinstein's or Vitello's.
Yeah.
I think they would have an elevator, but they don't.
Not One for No Pay. Anyway,
Well, thanks so much. This was really so much fun. I
thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Stay
And
in touch. I hope I see you. See you
yeah, absolutely. And if you're doing anything fun, just let me know. And
Yeah, hey, if you find out if that place opens, the new
the write-off room.
room, let me know. I'd like to contact them and
I
maybe
will.
I'm there on a weekday. Get the
Okay.
cats in there.
Absolutely. And
All
I'm going to let you sign off, and I'm going to just tell people, who's coming on and stuff.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lots of love.
Thank you. You
To
too.
everybody. I love everybody. And stay healthy and safe out there, and don't listen to all the crazy people. Get a vaccine and put on a mask. Thank you. God bless.
Okay. Bye. Oh, Luis Conte. He's so sweet. Great person, great human. Just want to tell you, so Thursday through Sunday, I put up my archives, and who's on the archives this week? Tomorrow is jazz drummer Clayton Cameron, and Friday is a DJ who we actually spent most of the time looking at his photography. DJ on the West Coast here named Abe Pearlstein. He does Tuesdays with Abe, and he has interviews too. I've actually been an interviewee. And Saturday, a great singer, jazz singer from the East Coast who's played with a lot of important, great jazz musicians, Rosanna Vitro. And Sunday, the great jazz pianist and singer, Dina DeRose, who lives in Austria. Then next week, the first 3 days are my live. And so the first day, Monday, trumpet player, composer, arranger from Los Angeles, Brian Schwartz, wonderful player. Tuesday, flutist Michael Mason, wonderful player, beautiful. And Wednesday, Nick Anderson, who's a singer in Seattle, but he also has curated a jazz series in different home venues for years, 20, 25 years, something like that. So that's going to be really fun. Some of the people who are coming up, on the archives is Kim Richmond, Corey Allen, Kate McGarry, Shauna Tucker, Leona Helms, Rebecca Kilgore, and Tom Wakeling. So if you want to know who's coming when, you can go on my site, CathySegal-Garcia.com, go to this event, and it'll tell you who's coming. Also, it will give you an archive link if you would like to look through the archives. Because, for instance, today, Luis was on the 319th day that I've done this. And I'm talking about live stuff. 319 days. That's a lot. So anyway, that's that. I'm going a lot to hear great music. There's a lot of music, wonderful music happening now. Anybody who's interested in me performing, I play at the conference room, which Louise played at also, which is in Playa Vista. It's really nice. It's an outdoor venue, beautiful patio, great food. And yeah, so they're switching us around this month. So it's the first Thursday and third Saturday. Again, this will be on my website, although I have to update it. So Thursday, September 2nd, I will be there. And for Saturday, September 18th, I will be there. I would suggest making a reservation. You can do it through their site or call after 5 on a Monday through Friday. Around 5 o'clock would be good. One more thing, I have a new CD that has just been released or is just being released. Actually, it's due for September. This is it. It's called Social Anthems. And pretty exciting, pretty excited about this. This is volume 1. And this is with Anthony Wilson, Josh Nelson, Edwin Livingston, and Lorca Hart. The record has 2 guest artists, Paul Jost, great singer from New Jersey, and Mon David, wonderful singer from Los Angeles. And we're having a CD release party Friday, September 10th in Los Angeles at a home venue. Again, go to my website, you can buy a ticket and you will get a CD for the ticket price. It's a very nice home venue. It's very open. It's a big open room. So it's not, you don't feel like you're in a closed environment, you know, if you're brave enough to come out. Obviously I am. So, but anyway, yeah, so, I think that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, yesterday I did this, and I think I'm going to play just a little bit from this record, just on the way out. Not much, just like less than a minute. And this is, whoops, I don't want to play that one. I want to play, here, I'll play, this one has a music video out. It was one of my singles. I made 3 singles last year with music videos, which was really fun. I loved doing it. And this one is Get Together and Can't Find My Way Home. So I'll play it a little bit for you, and I hope you enjoy it on the way out. Love is but a song to sing, fears the way we die. You can make the mountains rain or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, you may not know why. Come on, people, now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another. some may come and some may go. We shall surely pass. When the one that left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people, now, smile on your brother, everybody. All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate you being here. And thanks to our guest today, Luis Conte. Just really enjoy the conversation. Anytime you want, come on at noon, and you'll always see one of my shows. Okay. Bye.